Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich, and welcome to our Witchy Book Club series. We're going through The Inner Temple Witchcraft by Christo-Pagan. If you notice, I do have my earbuds in, or earbud in. Hopefully that is better audio than usually doing videos by my iPad. Let's hope. I don't know if that really makes a difference, but we're going to try. We are going through chapter 11, and if you do not have your copy of the book, I do have an Amazon link in the bottom bar in the description below. Go ahead and click on that to get your copy. It is available on Kindle. I do suggest getting this book through a local bookseller, either a local witchy shop or a metaphysical store or a local bookstore. Rather than buying it, from Amazon. But go ahead and get your copy. If you don't have those resources available through a smaller seller, go ahead and click the link below for Amazon and get it so you can follow along. We are again on chapter 11. This is lesson 9. This is a long chapter, and I'm probably going to end up having to edit some of this. I'm actually recording this on Friday, and it's going to get posted tomorrow, or for tomorrow, as per usual. I have had a hellacious week. I almost had to cancel this because I didn't have the reading quite done. I just finished it because, like I said before, I am a slow reader. Anyway, it's been a week. It has been a week. So let's go ahead and get on into this and see what we can agree, disagree, or learn from chapter 11, lesson 7, entitled Energy Anatomy. Christo-Pagan starts off with human beings spend most of their lives identifying with the physical body. A good, strong opening to the chapter. I'm going to be jumping around, and I'm probably not going to say exactly where I'm jumping around to. I will probably give a page number, so I'll try to keep it as quick as possible because we have a lot of stuff to go through. Anyway, before I go any further, remember to go ahead and leave a comment, like, subscribe, all those good YouTube things, appeasing the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. And let's get on in with this. I'm like I said, going to be jumping around. I'm going to try to do minimal editing so this actually gets uploaded in time. Anyway, he goes on to say further on down the paragraph, we are more than our physical bodies. Yes, absolutely. We are spiritual. We are spirits having a human experience. So, yeah, I do agree with this. As you may have noticed, the basic premise of witchcraft and almost any metaphysical discipline is the belief there is more to reality than the physical. Absolutely. I agree with this. And I'm basically, there's a lot of this that I do agree with, but certain things I wanted to point out. On page 194, the auric field draws to you the thoughts and vibrations you put out. This is the law of attraction that has become so popular with the book The Secret. Moving on down, the aura is generated through the interaction of your physical body's energy with other forms of personal energy called subtle bodies. They are subtle because they are not necessarily physically visible, but they can be felt. This is the concept of, hey, somebody's thinking about you, somebody's talking about you behind your back, you're feeling stabbed in the back and whatnot. These are subtle bodies. These are not necessarily people that are in the room with you. These are thoughts and ideas that are being kind of sent to you across time and space. Moving on down, some see it naturally, talking about the aura here, some see it naturally and have since childhood, never realizing that others couldn't. Jumping around, We conditioned our mind to function only in the logical world and didn't allow this imaginative experience to be ours. I do agree with this as far as many of the things that people see whenever they talk about seeing spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, astral beings in general. I do believe that is a big part, is that children are able to, or are more susceptible of seeing these, and we kind of drum it out of children as we grow older. And trying to gain that back is a little challenging for adults that have gone years with being told that this is just your imagination, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So I can understand that, but I don't think I've seen many children say something about an aura or something like that. I think children could, definitely, just like with seeing spirits and whatnot. I think that's totally a possibility. And I can't really discount any of this because I don't hang around children that often. So, anyway, moving on down to the bottom is due to Kirlian photography and other forms of aura photography available at many New Age centers and psychic fairs, we expect to see bright and vibrant colors like the photographs. Some people do see that, but often it's a more ghost-like image overlaying the physical reality, at least at first. I have not gotten Kirlian photography done on me, and I really kind of want to. I've seen pictures of it, and it's fascinating. I kind of love it. But I have not gotten one done. I've not had the chance yet to have somebody that actually does it take my photograph. And I think that's just super cool, some of the photographs that are out there. Moving on, and you're going to probably hear like creepy voices in the back and whatnot. And beeping and whatnot. Like I said, I'm at work. I think I mentioned that. I'm at work trying to film this because I'm working until Thursday of next week here at work. And this person just can't get their code right. And it's whatever, I don't care. I'm really not having it today at work. Anyway, moving on. This is on page 195. This is a skill that comes with a combination of practice and relaxation. Have fun with it. And I kind of wanted to stop there because having fun with what you're doing is a way that it really ends up encouraging you to do more, go further, and and whatnot. If you're not having fun with the activities that you're doing, you're not going to do them. If you're not seeing results, you're not going to do them. And I think having fun with what you're doing is a big part of actually seeing those results. So I think those kind of go hand in hand. And again, have fun with it. That there's no harm in having a little fun with a serious matter of auras and whatnot. And it can be a serious matter, but it doesn't have to be totally like serious. So have fun with it. And then he gives an exercise here. So he gives an exercise of aura gazing. This is exercise 23. I'm not going to go through it because it is a long exercise. I wanted to jump to page 197. At the very bottom, he says, it all depends on your association with colors. Oh, I thought somebody was standing there. I'm going to stop here. We have a little leprechaun cutout that is on the window facing out. And every time I look up and catch it out of the corner of my eye, I think it's somebody standing there, and it freaked me out. Anyway, going on. He says, it all depends on your association with the colors. Unlike aura photography, two gazers may see different colors and come up with with the same conclusion. They are seeing spiritual light and energy, not physical light, so it is open to interpretation, but in general, most will see similar colors. I wanted to touch on this because it is important to note that your color correspondences might not match in tandem with somebody else's. Over the vast majority of us, I think that's pretty much how we get color correspondences, is that, you know, people tend to agree with this color means this. So I think that is definitely a thing. However, your color correspondences may not jive with my color correspondences, and we may have those subtle differences, but we still come to the same conclusion. So I wanted to note that. And that's the same with any correspondences. Whenever you're talking correspondences with colors or herbs or what have you, even some gemstones and rocks and whatnot. So, yeah, and even some herbs, to be honest. Moving on to the into page 198 here. As you continue with aura gazing, the information you get will be more detailed. Some people see little homemade movies that we will later discuss as thought forms playing in the aura, usually around the head level. In these movies, the gazer sees or hears events in the past and still influence the person in the present. I tend to see little like snapshots, sometimes a little movie of sorts, but I don't I don't really see auras as clearly. I rarely see auras clearly. I haven't really practiced that much. I think my somewhat clairvoyance and more so my claircognizance and clairsentience overrules everything. And yeah, I'd rather trust those than have to sit there and say, oh, what color is this aura and what's that mean? And then try to connect all that. I like the real quick, clear knowing, clear sensing, and clear seeing somewhat. A little bit of clairvoyance. I'd rather rely more on those, to be honest, than seeing auras. And usually it does come through as a little snapshot or a little tiny, like a GIF of sorts. Not a GIF, a GIF. Moving on, though, your psychic mind will speak to you in the language of symbols that is most comfortable to you. And I think that's important to note, is that if you have certain symbols that mean certain things to you, and for each person it's going to be different. Such as, for me, you know, I'm just picking stuff up here. If I have a stamp as a symbol for collecting, then, you know, if I get the image of a stamp, it's going to be, hey, are you a collector of some sort? What is it that you collect? Something like that. Just for instance. And that's not a symbol that I usually associate. I would associate that more with, the male. But anyway, you may have a different symbol for collecting, such as, little beanie babies or something like that. And these are little snapshots that you might get, whereas mine would be stamps, something like that. Anyway, we're all going to have different symbols, and really the good thing I like about the journaling aspect that he pushes in this book is that whenever you get a new symbol, journal that stuff. Your book of shadows or in a regular journal or whatnot, compile a list of what your symbols are and what they mean to you and whatnot. And keeping that handy is an important thing, especially whenever you're going, and reading people, basically. Anyway, moving on, still in 198, care and maintenance are essential if we want anything to work properly, including the aura. I'm going to be jumping around here a little bit. Knowing how to control and heal it is a very important step in self-empowerment. Could not agree more. Again, this is taken out of context because I'm jumping around, but the general meaning here, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are, doing some self-empowerment steps, that you are, doing what you need to do for yourself, in order to be doing the work that needs to be done here. An important thing to note. Anyway, moving on to the bottom of 198, with colorful phrases, we often refer to our relationships in terms of war. This is him talking about your energetic health. Terms such as, she cut me to the quick, his words are abrasive, they stabbed me in the back, all these images are truer than you know. We rip and tear our auric field, and through the cracks come unwanted vibrations. This is also the type of phrasing that very much causes physical repercussions. You're making me sick to the stomach, and all of a sudden I have a stomach ache for like 3 days or something like that, that I'm sick to the stomach over a certain situation. Well, if that situation is resolved, that releases the stress, and the stomach ache, there is a physiological reason to it. The stomach ache goes away. But there's also an emotional and energetic source to this as well. And I think that is important to note, is that if you are thinking and you are constantly in energetic battles with a certain situation, this is stress, and that stress attaches itself to a part of your body, and that's where it affects it, and such, and so on and so forth. But I think that is important to note, is that our energetic body is just like our physical body. There's certain things that happen because of the way we think and talk about different things. So moving on to page 199, he's talking about the damage that is caused by the auric field, or to the auric field. He says, this damage heals over time, but can heal much more quickly with our intentions. Another sign of an unhealthy auric field is the abundance of unhealthy thought forms. Okay. And I do agree with that. That's all I had to say on that, but I did want to note that. He also says, when we do a spell or an act of an instant magic, in many cases we are creating a small thought form with the intent and releasing it to fulfill programming. Again, we're going back to the programming the subconscious and whatnot. When you feel shame, anger, hate, or fear, and reflect that back on yourself, or accept judgments about yourself from other people, you create harmful programs or heavy energy. Okay. I wanted to stop there real quick, because I listened to Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, and I love this this podcast. They just went through the entire series of Harry Potter, treating it as a sacred text, and I absolutely could not love it anymore. But one of the things that one of the hosts said on there was that, whenever one of them is talking bad about themselves, like, I'm not worth this, I look stupid or something like that, one other host will turn to her and say, hey, that's my friend you're talking about, and don't talk about my friend that way. And I think it's things such as this that we kind of need to say to ourselves, is that, hey, don't talk about myself that way. I'm important. I'm special, and you know what? I'm fucking beautiful. So, treating ourselves as good or better than we treat others. I think as long as if we're treating ourselves at least with the same amount of respect that we treat others, will be an important step to help deprogram these thoughts from ourselves. The thoughts of shame, anger, hate, or fear, or judgments that you have about yourself and whatnot. Say, hey, that's my friend, and you don't talk about my friend that way. Doing that, I think, would be a good step in the right direction. Anyway, we're going to move on here because I'm already about 21 minutes in, and I want to keep this a little short, or at least timely. The use of affirmations, this is still on page 199. The use of affirmations creates helpful thought forms and programs. Neutralizing keeps us from creating new unwanted programs. But it does not remove the unwanted programs from years of living. If you're anything like me, you might have grown up in a household where certain thought forms were drummed into you from the get-go. And some of them do take years to combat and deny and say, no, that's not right, and that's not a thing, and I'm not accepting this as true. So yeah, neutralizing the new ones that come through, this is one thing that I will agree with him about neutralizing. However, I do also like to, as I said in the past, I do like to sit with a thought and say, well, why do I feel that way? What is it that makes me think that this is a true way to feel about myself? And then examining it and picking it apart and scrutinizing it. And basically you set up a court of, here's the defense, here's the prosecution, let it go to town. And you let that play out in your mind and really scrutinizing whether or not the thoughts that you have or that have been told to you really hold any water that should be believed. So, yeah, I kind of agree with this, and I kind of also don't. Because if it's an old thought form, some of those you gotta sit with, and you gotta dismantle those brick by brick. But the new ones, yeah, you can definitely say, yeah, you called me ugly. Oh, screw you. What do you know? Like you're the epitome of what looks good or what not. Huh. I look just fine, thank you. And yeah, treating ourselves with that little modicum of respect that we give to others, I think, is important there. Anyway, we're moving on. Still on page 199, the last main issue of auric imbalance is unhealthy energy cords. And then he talks about the cords and whatnot, and he says, the cord can act like a chain, preventing you from letting go and moving on. And he gives nice little pictures here and whatnot. So, yeah, I do agree with this, is that we have attachments and we have, things that attach us to another individual that it's hard to let go. He goes on to say about this, most cords tie us to someone in our lives with whom we have unresolved issues and often an inappropriate relationship. These people can, and I'm bouncing around here, this is on 202, these people can be friends, family members, co-workers, or past lovers. You may even have some cords to current friends and lovers with whom things are great. There are good cords, there are bad cords. Jumping around here, some cords are connected to places of past abuse or violence. And yeah, I kind of want to give a trigger warning of sorts to this auric clearing, or aura clearing exercise that's coming up, if you choose to do it, be aware it will probably bring up some things that that might not be so fun to deal with. So definitely, do some self-care there. If you're not ready to go up against certain things, be aware of that. So I just wanted to give that little caveat there. Anyway, we're going to move on a little bit because I really kind of want to discuss the next sentence beyond that is, in any case, the gentle dissolution of cords and healing any damage they have created is paramount in living a responsible magical life. And I want to stop there for a second because in the witchy pagan community, there are a lot of cords to old religious beliefs, from basically Christianity and whatnot. So a lot of people, they leave Christianity because they had a bad experience. I didn't necessarily have a bad experience. I evolved from my experience there, and there are still some bad parts of who I once was that I'm still dealing with. And I have adapted and overcome and changed and whatnot as a human being. And a couple of those chords are like, okay, what are my thoughts on gay marriage? What are my thoughts on witchcraft and paganism as in a general sense? And these are chords that I had to cut because they didn't align with the church. So I think a lot of individuals who are in the witchy pagan community, they still, some of them, I'm not saying all, I'm saying a healthy number of them, have this hang up with the church and the things that it teaches. Again, Christo-Pagans, not necessarily always churchgoers, and yeah, a lot of us are Christo-Pagans because we have Christ in our practice, but we follow Christ's teachings, not necessarily the church that evolved. So, yeah, there's a difference between Christ and his teachings and the church and their doctrine. So, definitely a difference. And I think that for many people in the witchy pagan community, if they have not dealt with this in the past, I'll say this, a lot of them have. A lot of them have been like, you know what, it's not for me. And I'm not saying everybody, and I want to make that clear. But there are a good number of them who will completely crap all over Christianity and the teachings of Christ in general, because they equate Christ with the church, which are not necessarily the same thing. They're two different things entirely. And I think that for some people, that may be a cord that needs to be cut and dealt with. Anyway, I just wanted to go on that little tangent there. Moving on to the towards the bottom of page 202, he says, I didn't create all 18, he's talking about chords. I didn't create all 18 in a year's time, but each one represented a different issue I was ready to handle at that moment. I wasn't ready when I first did the exercise. Okay, so what he's talking about here is that there are chords that you will become aware of, that you have this little predisposition for, or that you have this connection to something, and you're like, wow, how did I not see this before? I thought I dealt with this. And maybe you didn't deal with it fully. Maybe it's an ongoing thing that you continually have to deal with until it's fully dealt with. And these things come in their own time. There are definitely things that are coming up now for me that I'm I'm dealing with, that I haven't dealt with in the past, that I thought I might have dealt with already. But no, no. Sometimes these just rear their ugly heads whenever you're ready, or whenever it deems you should be ready. And then we have exercise 24, which is about aura clearing. And I'm going to continue on page 205, where he talks about chakras. Now, I'm not going to have much to say about chakras outside, or chakras, depending on how you pronounce it. I'm not going to have a lot to add into chakras. However, I did want to point these out because I think these are things that we should be reading about and studying and drawing attention to. So, we're going to go ahead and get in it. At the bottom of 205, it reads, as your physical body has physical organs, your spiritual bodies have spiritual or energetic organs, points of light that process energy in time, or in the same way physical organs process food, water, and oxygen. Okay, sorry about the tongue tidiness, but yeah, it has been a week, guys. And it's still going until next Thursday, so strap in, because it's going to be a wild ride. Anyway, jeez, don't know where that came from. 206, we're going to continue here. Although there are many adaptations to the chakra system, the most commonly accepted models contain 7 points running along the axis of the spine, as shown in figure 21, and you can see that right there. This is how I envision the chakra system. They are connected through a central core channel, like a tube through which energy flows, as well as a spiraling kundalini channels. So yeah, we're going to stop there. So basically, yeah, the energy goes up through your middle portion. And I probably will end up doing a small chakra series at some point. Yeah, probably going to. Because I think it is something that we should be developing and making sure that everything spins the correct way, and we are open and ready to receive gifts from deity in terms of information or whatnot. And this is one way to do that, to ensure that happens correctly, or that we are interpreting things correctly. So, yeah, I think we may go through and do a chakra lessons, do some chakra lessons here on YouTube. So anyway, continuing to 207, because I'm just now rambling. The root chakra, and we're going to go through all 7 of them. The root chakra is found at the base of the spine, often visualized as a ball of red light at the perineum point between the sexual organs and the anus. Moving on here, the root is considered the first chakra because it deals with the most basic functions and earthly needs. Hold on. Are we still recording? Okay. My little thing came up here saying that I only have 10% battery left, which means I need to plug in. Okay. We're going to continue reading, though. And let's see, the root chakra is considered the first chakra because it deals with the most basic function and earthly needs, rooting us to the physical world. Again, we're going to move on down. Dysfunctions of the root chakra can manifest as illness in those systems, the sexual dysfunction, and he describes what physical systems that this is attached to. Let's see, lack of pleasure and enjoyment in life, particularly from any physical sensations, ungrounded feelings, depression, or suicidal impulses. If you need help, seek it. call the Suicide Hotline. I will try to put the number in the description because that is an important thing that you should have at your disposal. So, yes, if you have those impulses, do call that number. Serious. Don't need to be losing you guys. Want you guys around for many, many years. Anyway, moving on. Red stones such as rubies and garnets are associated with the root. Now, I'm going to stop here just for a second. And let me get my bag over here, because I will need to plug you guys in. And you know what? I'm not editing any of this out. Screw it. You know what? No. We're not editing. We're going to just cut the front part and back part of this video down. And we're going to add music to the background. And that's going to be that. That's what's going to happen this week. So, yeah. Yeah. That's how we're going to do it. I swear. I'm not editing this. Nope, not doing it. Anyway. He goes on to say at the bottom of page 207, in many Western magical traditions, the root chakra is not the base of the spine, as in the Sanskrit literature, but between the feet. This variation comes from different executions of Eastern and Western magic. In Eastern mysticism, meditation with the chakras is usually done sitting down with the base of the spine touching the ground. In Western magical traditions, particularly in ceremonial magic, the practitioner is usually standing. To me, both examples further testify to the fact that energy will take form in any way we intend to perceive it. And I agree. I've not seen any teachings where the feet are the base chakra, but that doesn't mean much, because just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not out there. Anyway, the belly. Now, I've always heard this called the sacral chakra. I'm like, what's the belly chakra? Whenever I first read this, but he says here the belly or chakra, or also called the sacral chakra, which is what I usually hear it referred to as, relating to lower sacral spine, abdominal chakra, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that because, yeah, nope, in the Eastern texts, as there are many names, location tends to vary according to the tradition and teacher, possibly include slightly below or above the navel point. I would say that mine is below. It's almost, close to the sexual organs and then to the belly button. But that is where I always envision that being. Let's see. Personally, I think it is because people have different body types. And I do appreciate that he says this. I think that it is totally a thing that if you have a different body type than another person, that your chakras may be slightly different. Yes. Carnelian is a stone associated with the belly chakra. The second chakra, it moves beyond the physical needs of the root and into the realm of the primal instincts and emotions. This energy relates to our basic need to reach out and commune with another being. Bouncing around here, although our ability to trust ourselves and relax relates to the belly, inhibitions and freedom, tension, and relaxation are tides of the orange chakra. Disorders of the second chakra, this is on 210. Disorders of the second chakra include digestive disorders, particularly ulcers, hypertension, mood swings, and inability to trust one's instincts, and difficulties communicating and relating to others as individuals. Solar plexus, this is more where he describes the sacral chakra. I see that more as a solar plexus. But, I think there could be slightly different teachings depending on person to person. Some of the alignment, at least with the root sacral, and solar plexus, I do kind of disagree with him on. However, it's minor things. Going on to him describing the solar plexus, is located right below the diaphragm muscle, beneath the rib cage. This yellow chakra is called, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that, and relates to basic human desire to exercise control over the things that are beyond us. With the belly, we reach out to others and now seek to exercise our will on the outside world. Our sense of power on all levels, from physical power, health, metabolism, and energy, to our strength of will, mental control, and even spiritual energy, is tied to the solar plexus. The lesson of this chakra is to learn about our power and our fear. Our self-image is related to the solar plexus, and citrine is the healing stone of the solar plexus. I actually have a small thin box, and I think I've shown it before, but looking at these chakras and whatnot and studying these, I think I might have to pull that out and really start working with these stones a little bit more, because it's a little box about yay big, and it has little channels in it, and it's 7 different channels, and it has the 7 stones that associate with the chakras, and also my wand is a chakra wand. So some things that I may pull out and start working with the next exercise. Oh, excuse me. Just had lunch not too long ago, about an hour or two ago, and it's sitting there. Let's move on. Next, we go on to the heart. The heart, called, I'm not trying to pronounce it, is located at the sternum and usually viewed as green, sometimes with a pink center. This is one that took me a long time to get my head around. Is how is the heart green? It's always red or pink or yeah. Excuse me. It took me a long time to associate green with the heart chakra. I will be honest, and I do apologize for yawning there. Sometimes whenever I've been recording for so long, I tend to start yawning and everything because I'm depriving myself of oxygen and whatnot. Usually I cut that stuff out. I'm not editing it. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, it took me a long time to get the heart chakra associated with green in my mind. The heart is the middle chakra, and as such is the bridge between the lower and higher selves, associated with emotion. The heart chakra's true purpose is to bring us to a state of unconditional love or perfect divine love. The purpose of our emotions is to bring us spiritual awareness through the connections we feel to our family, friends, community, and eventually the entire human tribe and all of nature. Our sense of balance between our needs and desires and our feelings of compassion are associated with the heart. Any green or pink stones are associated with the healing and opening of the heart chakra, including emerald and rose quartz. Important to note, pink or green stones work here. So keep that in mind. Moving on to 212, and an inability to form loving relationships, to trust others, to express our emotions freely, and feelings of guilt and shame are other signs of dysfunction. Love must start with the self before it can move out to others. Important thing to note. Love yourself before you can love others. These are things that need to be said and need to be reiterated to individuals out there, because some people, they go out looking for love thinking that's going to solve all the problems. No, that does not solve the problems. If you don't love yourself first, you cannot, I don't think, love somebody else unconditionally. Moving on to the throat chakra. Let's take a breath. The blue sphere at the base of the neck is the throat chakra and relates to the ability to express ourselves and communicate. The throat chakra encourages us to express our higher thoughts and feelings to to others. Strangely enough, the throat chakra represents not only expression, but also its opposite, listening. The throat chakra is like a message relaying system, taking in and sending out signals on all levels. For the throat chakra also relates to our spiritual and psychic hearing, listening to the inner voice, nature, the song of the universe, and our spirit guides. Very important. I think all of these are important. They all play their own part here. Let's see. Its stones are turquoise, sapphire, lapis lazuli, and might I also add, blue lace agate. One that's really cheap to find. And yeah, a powerful little rock. Love that powerful little rock. I used to carry them around with me all the time. I should probably start doing that again because, yeah, certain things have been out of alignment for me. Next, we go on to the brow chakra, not the brown chakra, the brow chakra, on page 213. This chakra is located between and slightly above the eyes, so right about there. The brow chakra relates to the function of seeing, physical seeing situations clearly, and seeing things psychically, our sixth sense. When we use our mind's eye to visualize something, we are using our brow chakra. Moving on to page 214, it says indigo and purple stones like amethyst are used to help open this chakra. There are so many things out there telling you how to open your third eye. Before you just jump straight to the third eye, open up the other chakras first. Trust me. That is actually a way to get everything in alignment. First, you start at the base. You always go root to tip, root to tip. Same with dyeing the hair, root to tip. Anyway, moving on to the crown chakra. And one reason I say this before I move on is that if you don't, if you open up your crown chakra wide open, you open up your third eye wide open, you're going to give yourself some headaches. If everything else is not opened and aligned properly, you will give yourself headaches, you will cause a misalignment, and it actually hurts yourself. It hurts you more than it helps you. So just some things to keep in mind. And I'm going to have to pause here because somebody just pulled in. I will be right back. Okay, so you guys ever have those situations where somebody pulls into your work and then they immediately pull out like 10 minutes after pulling into the parking lot? Yeah, that's what just happened. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm just basically going to smash these two videos together and call it a day. Again, minimal editing going on here. On the good side, that did give me enough time to make coffee, which is brewing right now. It smells really good. Anyway, let's go on to the crown chakra. Where did we leave off? You know what? I'm just going to start back up at the crown chakra. The crown chakra sits not... we didn't do the crown chakra yet. The crown chakra sits not in the body, but at the top of the head at the crown, known as, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It is visualized as violet, lavender, or dazzling white. I usually see it as a whitish blue, like electric blue, white energy. It is the culmination of the chakra system, expressing our innate connection to the divine and all life. The crown chakra is the source of inspiration and divine wisdom. It opens the gates to spiritual epiphanies and insights, giving us greater spiritual understanding. Now, it says that it is above the crown. let's see. It says it does not sit in the body, but at the top of the head. So, like, some of the things that you'll see is, like, half of it is at the top of your head, and half of it is, like, right, like, inside your head. Like, so it's this orb that is just cut in half and in your head. Half in your head. Anyway, the opal, diamond, clear / white quartz are the stones of the crown. He goes on to say, this is still on page 214, notice how the chakras from 1 to 7 demonstrate the developmental cycle of consciousness from simple physical needs to the spiritual. Again, this is why we go root to tip whenever we are opening our chakras and aligning everything. Moving on, he has exercise 25, chakra opening and balancing. One thing I did not do is we did not go to last week's, last week's assignments. I'm going to save you a lot of things, a lot of aggravation there. I didn't really do any because this week it's been a week. And next week's going to be a week. So, yeah, I'm running ragged here, guys. I want to continue on page 218, then I'll get to the new assignments and whatnot. Scan your aura and chakras often. As your awareness of the energy anatomy grows, you will perceive the location and reason for imbalances. Such information will help you pinpoint problem areas in your life that need to be addressed. Absolutely. If you are noticing that, something with your heart chakra is amiss, did you really fully deal with that breakup that you had, 3, 4, 5 months ago? Did you really fully process that and deal with it and, disconnect yourself from that cord, those bad feelings? Sometimes whenever, like, if you're doing this, if you're scanning your chakras and all that, seeing what's in balance and whatnot, and what's not in balance, if you notice that, that's something for you to deal with. And when you're noticing that with your aura and whatnot, that's something that you need to deal with. Cutting those cords, pulling them out, whatnot. Let's move on to assignments, and then we're going to just wrap it on up here. New assignments. Exercise 23 and 25. Complete and record your experiences in your book of shadows. Notice changes in yourself after aura clearing exercise and repeat as needed. Next is try aura gazing in your daily life, looking at the energy of people, plants, and objects. Okay. I have done the aura gazing before, especially with plants and animals. Not necessarily people as much, but plants and animals definitely. The chakra exercise, I have done that in the past. And it's high time I did it again, most likely. I'm pretty sure they need to be realigned and, spun in the correct directions because, yeah, things are going on. Continuing assignments. Daily journal. Write 3 pages a day. Again, I've been getting 1-2 pages down, and yeah. It's been a week. Why the coffee's brewing. Next one is focus on regular meditation practice. Excuse me for yawning, by the way. Focus on regular meditation practice at least 3 times a week, if not daily. Honor and recognize your intuition. Continue to ask questions, of course. Use instant magic in your daily life. Probably not instant, or not in daily life with the instant magic, but, as needed, at least for me. And neutralize unwanted thoughts and intentions. I've spoken about this before. Continue using light in your life and meditations. Absolutely. Tips. If you have difficulty perceiving the aura, pick a point 6 to 12 inches above the crown of your partner. Look at your partner only through your peripheral vision. So out of the sides, out of your periffs. Anyway, if you want a physical exercise to improve your visualization, stare at your third eye or brow. Look up at your brow between the eyes and count to 12. Release and relax for a minute and then repeat. Practice it in moderation. This eye exercise improves your visualization skills. It kind of works, yeah. I've had success with it. Next one is remember that not everybody gets their information visually. Very important to remember. I tried this experiment with 2 other magical friends of mine. I taught them about seeing the aura, but neither really saw it. One heard the color in his head when he looked. No visual involved. The other knew the color, but did not hear or see it. She just knew. Most of the time, we had the same color, and every time we had the same general interpretation. You could experience tastes, sensations, or smells when exploring the aura and chakras, each with specific associations. Find your own way. Love this. The next one is last thing I'm reading today, and I stumble on it again. Okay, again with the interruptions. So, anyway, and then I have to do 166 steps because I still haven't done that. Anyway, let's finish up. Be gentle with yourself, particularly whenever it comes to aura and chakra clearing. Don't push yourself too far too fast. Magical training is much like physical training. You must build your strength slowly, even if you have natural talent. Honor your own limits and do not compare your experiences to others. Your experience is perfect for you. So I think that's an important thing to note. Again, that your experience is going to be different than other people around you and what their experience has been. So sorry that this has been kind of hickledy-pickledy all over the place. For those of you who know what hickledy-pickledy means, you're obviously watching people in the UK or in Australia. Anyway, so that has been chapter 11 of the Inner Temple Witchcraft. Join me next week for chapter 12, which is the journey work. And yeah, looks like we have less pages to read for that week. I'm gonna try to get these done ahead of time because yeah, I really need to film these ahead of time so I can get them out on time. Anyway, again, this has been all over the place. Leave a comment in the dibbly-doo down below in the nether regions. Leave me a comment. Let me know how bad this video has been. If you are following along in the book club series or with the book, let me know what your thoughts and impressions were on this chapter in particular. Have you been doing the exercises? Have they been helping you out? Have they been, just bleh? Let me know by leaving a comment below. Like and subscribe, appeasing the algorithmic gods of YouTube. And until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.